Now we will be changing a little bit. We will continue with Emre Yöntem, who is the CEO of EcoWise, and he will be talking about the data foundation for circular construction.
Sound check, sound check. Thank you very much, Nerea. Thank you for being here at this early time on the torrential rain day, not an easy day. We're just drying up as well, so we just made it. Metabuilding Association and Metabuilding Labs as a project, as a vehicle has been mentioned, and it's all coming up from this EU idea of Build for People innovation clusters. What we want to showcase or just present as one of the founders and partners of this network is just a use case of how certain data-driven technologies can enable what Nerea and Germain mentioned. Who are we? We're EcoWise. We're a London-based software and technology company. We have been involved in the Metabuilding and Metabuilding Labs, and we're the founding partners of the Metabuilding Association, as well as other roles in circular economy-related data interoperability projects. So we are leading the United Circles project, as well as one of the flagship digital product passport projects, which is called SURPASS. And as you may know, the construction sector is a core actor involved in this digital product passport network. So let me start by looking at the diverse actors in the supply chain of construction and also construction products manufacturing, asset management. So we have different types of actors who have different needs, and there's a demand and supply chain, obviously, as you can imagine. Let's start by saying the Metabuilding platform is capable to serve or support all of those actors that we are referring to. It has different capabilities for RTOs, technology providers, etc., which I'll try to main. So you can see it as a melting pot or a communication platform for all of those actors. I will look from the standpoint of how the construction product developers and the building and asset owners could benefit, and us providing the technologies related to them. So from a regulatory perspective of the potential stakeholders in the construction supply chain, if we look at the regional governments or cities or municipalities, there's of course their core needs, their core concerns about citizens' well-being, climate goals, and financial. It's just the cores of sustainability, you might say. And there is an ongoing and evolving regulatory framework, especially from the EU, driven from the EU, and also there's local ones as well. Some of those would be related with health and safety. Some others are related with construction product regulation, digital product passports. Major cities have their carbon reduction commitments, etc. And they need digital tools to enable that. The eco-design for sustainable products regulation is an example. It looks at the supply and delivery and the logistics of sustainable products, let me say, and they are very keen on trying to converge the EU construction sector and construction materials in that framework as well. There are 36 different construction product groups that need to be providing their digital product passports in a certain time frame, and you will see on the right side. And it starts from some basic core cement and steel-like materials, but it easily moves towards the facade and similar components. They will all need to have their digital product passports, which will carry their carbon data in the certain standards. And that, of course, all need to converge into the buildings that we're building or refurbishing. And there are digital building logbook or refurbishment passports as regulatory frameworks for that. And obviously, Metabuilding platform, via one of the services we have is trying to support this as well. So we have a digital product passport module enabled from the digital Metabuilding platform. Obviously, there is, let's say, a normalized new framework that is coming up for product carbon footprints. And this is going to be also a globally required standard. So meaning EU is driving the PCF, product carbon footprint calculations, and their standards beyond the existing ISO 4000 group. There's now these new ones, and the environmental product declarations of the products are now being also converged or aligned with these regulations. So it's not easy to comply with that. So if you're an asset owner, developer, construction company, or a construction product manufacturer, you have to comply with this. You have to innovate. You have to validate your capabilities in different pilots and environments. And of course, you have to find new markets and you grow. And that is not easy. So that's where Metabuilding comes in. The platform supports the technology readiness level increase, which you mentioned as well. The TRL levels need to go up as we evolve. We have to look at regulatory compliance, and we have innovation coaches inside the platform who can do that for you. We allow showcasing and piloting and verification. And on top of that, we provide digital tools. Some of them free for use and some of them free for members. So please come talk to us about our Digital Building Logbook and Digital Product Passport solution. So the designers and supervisors, the architects, the commissioners, also the verification bodies have also to look at sustainable design principles. They have to verify the carbon assessment content and also make sure this content they are providing is secured and shared in a trusted and transparent manner. That's not an easy task as well. So the Metabuilding platform, we can say we stay at the center of this supply, demand and supply chain. So you can tell the citizens, the government stay on the demand side. They regulated the whole construction sector and the materials try to supply that, and there's this also verification aspect. What we try to do is support all of those parties. Let me give you an example of how. So on the left is our Digital Building Logbook, and on the right you can see a digital product passport. These are all machine readable. So what you see is not just a web page that you can see on any website. The EU is developing standards on how the construction products need to be defined, what sort of information has to be inside it, and how this can be machine readable. Meaning, on the construction side, if this nice product on the right side appears with the QR code, either Metabuilding platform or any other platform that you have for construction processes, the QR code's content has to be A, machine readable, and B, trustworthy. Meaning, there is a complete backend capability that verifies the content is true and it is verified by third parties, external parties. So that is a product passport's overall concept that feeds into a building logbook. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but beyond the physical labels, if there's one thing you want to read, it's the one at the bottom. These product passports and the building logbooks can be reported to governmental bodies. It will allow the products pass through customs. It will allow the buildings be used for building permits. The overall logic is to consolidate this regulatory required data in digital logbooks in the standardized framework. And we can help you with that. And it is an emerging need, as you will see in various environments. I just want to mention a couple of features. The security levels, of course, every data has to be secure and private, but we have to have a very clear way of identifying these actors. There's also a way of using digital signatures for every action, and certain data in the product passports is not public. It is your private data. You don't want to share it with everyone. You have a photovoltaic panel or a certain technology. You have a certain data that just needs to go to the maintenance experts, or you want certain data to be collected for recycling purposes, but that's not public, it's competitive data. For that, we have standards as well. This is called selective disclosure. We have verifiable credentials for that. There's a whole new set of framework coming from the EU, and the EU is doing both digital product passport legislation for the construction sector, as well as setting up data standards, as well as carrying on pilots. And we are involved in all of those. If that is something that is going to help your business thrive or get competitive, talk to us, please. Just simple examples, and I just need to, because I don't have a live demo here, but I will have one there. You can think about the Digital Building Logbook as a consolidator, a collector of different components, reinforced concrete, and you can have also other cement content, and we can look at BIM objects of walls or slabs or columns be imported as components of buildings, and you can have specific data on every type of test and verification made on site about that construction process, which can allow you for future responsibility and liability management. So if there is a fire door that has to be tested and verified, you can record it. Most important is if there is an unfortunate event like the Grenfell Tower or some disastrous fire or etc. event, you can trace back. In London, when we had the terrible incident of the Grenfell Tower where close to 100 people unfortunately passed away, they started in the center of London in Hammersmith, very close to our office, they started an investigation. Investigation is still ongoing after 8 years. They're trying to find who are liable for the losses of those. But if you have this traceability and the governments are demanding this, then you have this platform, and your clients, if you're a constructor or a material producer, are willing to work with you because you have this transparency capability in your system, holistic system. I will need to just jump these slides because there are some screenshots of how these different, this is a building or a construction process. The QR code, you can scan it. I will have a bigger one soon. And this is in compliance with multiple standards we're looking at. There's the Digital Building Logbook standards, also the new EPBD going to ask for new standards. There's the GS1 standards for information on products. We'll have pact standards for carbon data carrying. And all of the contents in them, if you click to one component, which is a wall, then you can have a passport that carries information about that wall as well. So you can break it down into manageable and machine readable, most important. This is just an interface for us humans, but all the content in there is machine readable. So you can pass the QR code of the building to the client you have after the construction, and all this breakdown, including all the verification and liabilities, will be transferred in that in a trusted manner. So that's the core logic I'm trying to pass here. Multiple components, they all lead to the level of steel and metal sheets and everything that we have used in the building, they are integrated. And we are piloting this in various environments. And most importantly, at the end, you have all the verification systems. I'm almost done. I will have 1 or 2 slides to finish this. Sorry. Because of the, What you get at the end, a verified set of data for the building and a verified set of data by the related authorities for every component inside it. And that is coming. The governments and the EU is going to ask for this. Time frame 27, 28. We can talk about it. Obviously, multiple actors. There's a whole infrastructure of digital signatures and cryptographic backend for that, which we are happy to talk about. But what we are basically trying to say is the Metabuilding Association and the platform and the capabilities contained in that is ready to support you for your future green and digital transition in the construction sector. And please do come to talk to us if you're interested, and if we can do piloting and various tests and verification actions together, or if you have ideas that can attach to our platform and be marketed via us as the platform, as EcoWise is one of the solution providers, you can see Metabuilding as a system integrator. So we're here to talk and work on that. If you scan this QR code, that will take you to one building logbook. You will see there's multiple sections. Just you can go ahead and press and play with that. But we are very pleased to talk about this, and we are very pleased to be your solution partner for your digital and green transition for your future proofing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emre. We still have some minutes ahead, so I would like to open the round of questions. I have some questions on my own, but I would like you to give you this opportunity to ask them directly, these fantastic speakers. Any doubt you may have? Any question? Please don't be shy. Just stand up and we will hand you a micro. Yes.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, because I was here, regarding the DPP, the Digital Building Logbook, and all those, I would say, frames that the European Commission is putting up. There's some products that are not under the construction product regulation, either the eco-design regulation, like you already, it was my main question, the ready-mix concrete, for example, is one of those examples when it's in situ. So when we are talking about verifying or validating the final data that is in the Digital Building Logbook, are you using other types of I would say digitalization of the information or the certification that comes from the manufacturer that I would assume is voluntary, because it's not something that you receive as a construction company, but it doesn't have the requirements or the standards that the DPP is putting up. So how do you see those type of products or solutions that may not be under the construction product regulation, for example?
Yeah. Very good question. This is something also as a business we're trying to position ourselves in. It's kind of the stick or carrot question. The stick, which sounds not the best, but the regulatory requirements are emerging. But then there's always the carrot. The carrot is the digitalization in the construction process is beneficial to all parties involved. And there's a lot of bottom-up engagement on carrying out the data management in the aspect we presented to you. So to be more concrete, the the cement digital product passport has to be integrated by the end of next year. But we have a use case in Ireland where every batch of concrete that is coming as 7-ton trucks, which are now actually approved by signing a document and that is then put on some document management system, are now being converted into a batch digital product passport, which is approved and accredited by a verified actor. So these type of use cases are emerging because it helps a lot with the efficiency and reliability of the process. When you have a reinforced concrete wall, you have to know every batch of that truck that came at the certain standards. You have to have the also steel reinforcements precisely, of course, installed and construct. And then you have 3 tests, like the first day, the 14th day, and the 28th day of those pressure tests that validates the reliability of that component. So that is now being carried out on paper, of course, Excels and Words and PDFs, but not on a holistic way. And if there's any problem, you would need to dig a shared folder or something. So we see movement from bottom up towards using these centralized solutions as well. And we hope that will grow and enhance. In the meantime, the regulatory drivers will also be there, and we'll be meeting in the middle in a couple of years. But it's always beneficial for those actors to be prepared for this type of digital transition so that you're not overwhelmed when the regulatory stick comes in 2 years' time. So we see that movement already. But it's an evolutionary thing, and very good question. Thank you.
Indeed, very, very good question. Very interesting. I think we can have another question now. There is still some couple of minutes. So, any other question? Okay, so I will I will ask mine. We are talking about digital building logbooks, digital product passport, construction product regulation, the EPBD recast. So there is a lot going on. How do you consider the construction sector and manufacturers should be following up with all of this?
Thank you. This is a harder question and as valuable. I can approach from where we stand. We are involved in multiple digital product passport use cases and building and platform use cases. We, even as a technology provider, find it hard to follow up. We have an expert on circular economy that's following all the regulations full-time, and it is still a full-time job. And we see a lot of the demand to us is not necessarily a software service tomorrow, but consultancy on how do we adapt this. So that we know that the Commission, I think DigiGrowth has some tenders ongoing for the aligning of these things, but we need to look at the EPBD recast. We need to look at the levels framework. We need to look at the working groups of digital product passports for construction products. We need to look at the construction product regulation requirements. And now what we see, the market is not emerging with a lot of software solutions per se, but there's a lot of consultancy work. It's not an easy task, but we as Metabuilding can also help with that because we can find the right experts for that. And we are trying to create white papers just to guide experts and the sector on that. But honestly, the Commission is also working on it. There has to be more movement, at least alignment, and we are aware there is some action going on. But unfortunately, it's not very clear for the whole industry with so many moving parts. So one of the things that any audience or any future party can do is come talk to us, and we do a lot of free consultancy as well as white papers, etc. Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you very much. So it's hard work. There's still a lot to do. But unfortunately, we have to conclude this session. Thank you very much for having joined us. However, the session concludes here, but the discussions can continue. We are right there, the Metabuilding stand. So please feel free to come to visit us, and we will be happy to continue the discussions. Thank you very much, and have a very nice day.